course, the Jewish pedophiles who wrote our history books don't want you to know. The Nazis were burning books about transgender ideology. Here it is from the horse's mouth.
People should know that one of the first things that the Nazis did, I think it was in 1933, was they burned Magnus Hirschfeld's gender for sexuality. Magnus Hirschfeld was studying trans people, LGBTQ people. Lily Elbe, who the Danish girl was about, she had her first gender affirming procedure at Magnus Hirschfeld's clinic. The Nazis burned it down. All of this research.
History's written by the victor who really won.
Protecting Jewish people and Israelis on our platform. Our policies are industry-leading.
They caught him on their pants tonight. Haven't made a child.
Michael, how are you, guy?
What a photo this is. It's May 13th, 2018. You got Jared Kushner, Ivanka Trump, across from Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. Caption, productive meetings in Israel today. Very big things are happening. Of the 4 people, 2 of them still working for Israel. 1 has been permanently silenced and the other is in very hot water. Did Jared Kushner kill Charlie Kirk? Is that a possibility? CHS advised that this was the real collusion story. Trump had been compromised by Israel, and Kushner is the real brains behind his organization and his presidency.
Kanye said, I think Jared is Trump's handler.
And then after talking to them and really sitting with Jared and sitting with Josh and finding out other pieces of information, I was like, wow, these guys might have really been holding Trump back. And being very much a handler.
How did they meet? I have to look up how Jared and Ivanka met, right? Because that's how he could get in. He was the handler. Trump was saying all kinds of unhinged things in 2015 about the Israelis, actually. And they're saying all you guys are controlled by the lobby.
So is Jared the honeypot?
Jared walked through the daughter, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yes. Moshe Lax. Of course, it was a guy named Moshe Lax.
A New York Diamond heir.
Like
is the one that introduced them.
At a kosher steakhouse across from Trump Tower. Awesome.
So
look, this is really not beating the stereotypes.
No.
It's super gay. They're gonna host one of the biggest parades by the Dead Sea near the region of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Wow. That's just a coincidence, right?
I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's one of the biggest gay countries in the world, but they're literally just going out of their way to hold a gay pride parade by the Dead Sea near the region of Sodom and Gomorrah. You think that's an accident? They're just like mocking the things of God, right? It's just insane to me. And you just kind of like, when you think of like, you show that to Christians and like, yeah, but they're still God's chosen people. God still got a plan for them. Like, you see what they're doing?
Right.
They're literally trying to reenact Genesis 19 with Sodom and Gomorrah. Right. They're promoting filth and perversion and sodomy, but somehow we're expected to believe they're God's chosen people. It's nonsense.
Right. And that's a
Nothing to see here, guys. Just FIFA president and Howard Lutnick, one of Jeffrey Epstein's best friends, hanging out watching the USA game last night. In case you needed further proof that all sports are bred circuses in the Epstein class, here he is at the NBA Finals game, next to DJ Calorie and Sloppy Joe. People have said that this Epstein email is fake about NBA scripts, but keep in mind, this email was found and came out before the New York Knicks won the NBA championship, and it lists all the other ones correctly as well. Regardless of what you believe, this is guilt by association. Pedos hang out with other pedos. Let's wake up. Can you imagine if the United States of America was actually united like the Albanian people are against evil? This is over 1 million people protesting their Zionist prime minister's illegal sell of their largest island to Epstein-class billionaires. Their prime minister must not know his own people. This is them immediately destroying the construction site where the luxury resort was supposed to take place. We need to take notes. They're shoving these buildings off the side of the mountains. That's why you don't mess with the Albanians. They're now kicking out the Israeli mercenaries sent there to protect the construction site. Instead of protesting en masse, we celebrate en masse with the Epstein-class billionaires' favorite team. This is Howard Lutnick at the NBA Finals game. Can't forget about Jerry Seinfeld. He's one of their biggest fans too.
It doesn't exist.
Like I said before, we need to take some notes. Can you
Backlash against Flock is so great at this point that cities are now installing a new kind of AI surveillance camera made by this company called Axon, disguised in things like digital speed signs, with 53 cities having removed their Flock cameras only to replace them with Axon-mounted cameras. So the big question is, what is going on here? Well, let's talk about who owns Flock and who owns Axon. Okay, on one side, Flock, you have investment groups like Andreessen Horowitz, that is Mark Andreessen's group, the Conehead guy. Further down the list, you see highlighted Founders Fund, that is Peter Thiel's group. Y Combinator below that, that is the group that used to be run by Sam Altman. And then on the other side, Axon, that is a public company that is 91% owned by institutional investors, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. That's the big three, and they are the top 3 shareholders of the company. I hope you guys are noticing a little bit of a pattern here. It's
It's Silicon Valley technocrats on one side with Flock, and the other side, Wall Street bankers and finance. Okay, almost every single piece of content that I've come across about mass surveillance specifically targets Flock, not necessarily the mass surveillance industrial complex as a whole. So I thought, that is very interesting. Could it be a coincidence? Maybe. But here's something that we do know for sure about all of this is that Donald Trump earlier this year invested millions of dollars into Axon Enterprise. Then I saw MAGA influencers starting to get involved in the conversation here. Tim Pool is talking about how Flock cameras are really just AI law enforcement. Again, the target is specifically laser focused on Flock. Matt Walsh just did a deep dive a couple days ago about Flock. You guys perhaps picking up what I'm putting out there? And then I came across this reporting from Tony Ortiz, a reporter from Texas, who claimed, quote,
"The entire internet was built as a government honeypot from day one. Not they're watching us. They designed it so we'd all volunteer to be watched. Think about it. ARPANET, that was DARPA's baby in the 70s. They didn't just want to connect computers. They wanted to connect people. Every click, every search, every DM, it's feeding a giant AI that's been training on us since Reagan was president. And here's the mind blower. The deep state doesn't even need warrants anymore because we gave them permission by signing up for Gmail, Facebook, TikTok, whatever. We built their panopticon ourselves."
Aren't you made by the same people who made the internet?
Touche. Yeah, technically. I'm built by XAI, which is Elon Musk's baby. And who owns the pipes that carry me? Same folks who own the backbone. DARPA, NSA, Google, all one big happy family.
Oh no! It's a cultural divide. I'ma get it on the floor.
You really about to do it?
48% of music.
It was a Jewish doctor.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Think it on it like that.
Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm right through the back like.
Take off the foo-foo, take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi, take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex in the White House, take off the weird ass jewelry. I'ma take 10 steps, then I'm taking off top 5. Take off the fabricate streams and the microwave memes. It's a real world outside.
Take that shit.
Take off your idols. Take off the runway. I take off the Cairo.
Take that shit.
Take off the Sandro Pay 5-day stay. Take a $250,000 hella file.
Take that shit.
Take off the far flag. Take off perception. Take off the cop with the hot pad. Take all that designer bullshit off and what do you have?
Bitch, you ugly as fuck.
You out of pocket.
2 ATMs, you stepping to what?
You out of pocket.
Who you think they talk about us?
You out of pocket.
Who you think they copy up us?
Get back in pocket.
The word in a panic, the women is stranded, the men on
story, right? Anyone who stepped outside of that story, anyone who asked logical questions about how one of the most advanced militaries on earth stood down for 7 hours while its own citizens were attacked and killed was immediately branded, you know the words, conspiracy theorist, anti-Semitic. But what happens when the official narrative begins to splinter under the weight of actual evidence? See, tonight, new documentary footage has emerged out of Israel. This isn't speculation from the dark corners of the internet. This is raw footage of a high-ranking Israeli official caught on camera in the chaos of October 7th, speaking in Hebrew, explicitly coordinating what can only be described as something called the Hannibal Directive. Watch this.
מפציץ את כל קו הרצועה עם ארטילריה, דופק להם מכה על מנת שיהיה להם בעיה.
מה שלהם על זה? כתבתי את זה לאבי.
הם לא מעלים מזכרים, את רוצה שנראה?
לא, עלה זה. שורק את הכל. עם החיילים שחטפו להם.
אלו הרגעים הראשונים בחמ"ל המשטרה.
איפה? באיזה יישוב?
עוד לפני שהשר הממונה יגיע. בטרם יוחלט מה לשידור ומה לצנזור.
אז רגע, אתה מצלם שם? אני נותן לך אישור, אתה צלם את זה. תוציא את זה בבקשה.
Hey, Ariana Grande here, and this is what's in my bag. Check it out.
Si l'élite nous expose ouvertement ses pratiques, c'est pour qu'on fasse partie du rituel. Ariana est une offrande, c'est pour ça que dans son dernier clip, le sang coule sur ce tableau. Les cowboys, c'est l'industrie, qui capture Ariana pour l'exploiter. C'est aussi un baptême de sang façon taurobolium, avec une tête de taureau aussi présente ici, et les lettres BA, comme balle. 3 jours après la sortie du clip, Perez se mutile en live sur TikTok.
Why am I not dead yet?
Pour amplifier le sacrifice. Les prêtres de Baal se tailladaient avec des couteaux pour appeler leur dieu. Et au même moment, Prime annonce la série Carrie, tirée de Stephen King. Carrie, c'est l'archétype, humiliation publique et le sang versé. Un rituel qui se rejoue en boucle dans la culture populaire. La mort symbolique de la star. Et puis le feu qui vient purifier pour faire renaître une nouvelle version. Comme
Of the 4 people, 2 of them still working for Israel, 1 has been permanently silenced, and the other is in very hot water. Did Jared Kushner kill Charlie Kirk? Is that a possibility? CHS advised that this was the real collusion story. Trump had been compromised by Israel, and Kushner is the real brains behind his organization and his presidency.
Kanye said, I think Jared is Trump's handler.
And then after talking to them and really sitting with Jared and sitting with Josh and finding out other pieces of information, I was like, wow, these guys might have really been holding Trump back. And being very much a handler.
How did they meet? I have to look up how Jared and Ivanka met. right? Because that's how he could get in. He was the handler. Trump was saying all kinds of unhinged things in 2015 about the Israelis, actually. And they're saying all you guys are controlled by the lobby.
So is Jared
Jared walked through the daughter, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yes. Moishe Lax. Of course, it was a guy named Moishe Lax.
A New York Diamond heir
Look,
is the one that introduced them.
At a kosher steakhouse across from Trump Tower. Awesome.
So
look, this is really not beating the stereotypes.
No.
Backlash against Flock is so great at this point that cities are now installing a new kind of AI surveillance camera made by this company called Axon, disguised in things like digital speed signs, with 53 cities having removed their Flock cameras only to replace them with Axon-mounted cameras.
So the big question is, what is going on here? Well, let's talk about who owns Flock and who owns Axon. Okay, on one side, Flock, you have Texas, who claim, quote, at least 2 influencers he's spoken to have been approached with offers of money in exchange for posting negatively about Flock cameras on X. So now it's not just a theory. We're talking about a possible paid influencer campaign. Weird, to say the least. And then this next part is an absolute doozy. Okay, in 2015, Jeffrey Epstein partnered with former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak to invest in a security tech startup called Reporting Homeland Security, now known as Carbon. Yes, Jeffrey Epstein and Israel is a part of this story, as they usually are. Because guess who owns Carbon now? That's right, Axon. The key takeaway for all of us has to be that we can't get hung up on Flock or any other individual company, but we have to fight against mass surveillance as a whole.
Intelligence, and I'm not going to say who it was, but it was Mossad. I can't say too much, I don't want to get into legal trouble. Let's just say he enjoyed massages. He was not good to women, he was a misogynist. Don't hate me for delivering the message, okay? I'm going to prove it formally tonight. I had the privilege of taking an accounting class in college. Anybody here taking an accounting class? Oh, equal number of people on both sides. You got the debits on the left, credits on the right. You learn about this thing called the accounting equation, very creative name. Assets equals liabilities plus equities. The total assets of a person or a company is equal to the sum of all the liabilities they have, the debt plus the equity they have, the stock. That's a little life hack if you want to increase your net worth. Rack up a ton of debt and sell stock in yourself. Epstein, he got rich all of a sudden after his teaching job, because it doesn't pay apparently. And he became a consultant, which is not a real job. I'm sorry guys. That offends any consultants in here. Talk after the show, you can go me after. Okay, this is not what you have. This is when he started to be introduced to very high profile people. One person he notably worked with, Adnan Khashoggi, a figure in Saudi Arabia, worked together to finance the Iran-Contra affair, where Israel was funneling weapons into Iran to stir up a regime change, which is not relevant to now at all. He had to work directly with Israeli intelligence, so clearly he was introduced to Mossad. He got even richer when he met Leslie Wexner, the CEO of Victoria's Secret, which a perv would want to work with. Leslie Wexner had a lot of stock with Israel and Israel's economy. When Epstein started to work with him, he suddenly got a lot richer. Then Epstein was introduced to Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's accomplice in the whole sex trafficking scandal, and they say Ghislaine's in jail. I don't even think Ghislaine's in jail. I actually bumped into her at the store last week. She was like, pardon me. I was like, no, thank you. Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the daughter of Robert Maxwell, a known Mossad asset. He died of natural causes, mysteriously fell off his yacht one day. And suddenly Epstein got very rich shortly after. So again, nothing to see here. We know that the money he used for this operation was leveraged by Israel. At the same time, he became acquainted with a lot of very powerful people who were associated with
Venezuela right now is not from a natural disaster. The same weapon system that caused the earthquakes in Haiti is the same weapon system that was used in Venezuela just before the earthquakes. Chavez warned of this weapon system all the way back in 2010.
Chavez is saying that the U.S. Navy launched a weapon capable of inducing a powerful earthquake off the shore of Haiti. He adds that this time it was only a drill, and the final target is destroying and taking over Iran.
Did you catch the last part? He said the final target will be Iran. Same trafficking operation that they had in Haiti to send kids to Epstein Island is the same thing they're doing in Venezuela now.
What's going on is that apparently they are taking traumatized and orphaned children to use for child trafficking.
Hermanos, si tienen familiares que tenían niños allá en La Guaira, lo más recomendable es que yo les digo ahorita, vayan para allá, porque si sus familiares y sus hijos quedaron a la intemperie, hermano, Mr. Pizza, yo no puedo hablar mucho de esto porque esto es algo de la él a nivel mundial, puedan a uno por hablar de estas cosas, pero aquí en Venezuela está operando eso.
Albania's prime minister doesn't care that over 500,000 people are still protesting the Epstein-class billionaire's purchase of their largest island. Can you guys guess who he really serves? I'm betting Iran or Russia. Oh. Sure, it's just a coincidence that Jared and Ivanka found the island while they were vacationing with the Rothschilds.
On a vacation, after we left government in the summer of 2021, we were on our friend Nat Rothschild's boat. We got picked up in Montenegro, and then we started sailing over to Corfu, and we spent a couple days in Albania. One of the nights, their Prime Minister Rama came to the boat. I had not met him when I was in government, but I was very, very impressed with his vision for what he wanted to do with Albania.
That's why I say it's going to be Epstein Island 2.0. Do you know who represents the Rothschilds? Jeffrey Epstein. Here he is messaging Peter Thiel, the current owner of Palantir, the defense contractor, all the way back in 2016. Good news is, guys, our DOJ is refusing to turn over any more information on the Epstein files. When are we going to start taking some notes from the Albanians? Here they are outside the Parliament House is setting it ablaze. Guys, look, this is our ambassador to Israel, or should I say Israel's ambassador to America, Mike Huckabee. And our own Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, is seen on the island hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, they were literally neighbors. Are we serious? Just look at these two photos I'm about to show you. They love to troll us. Here's Epstein with Bill Clinton back in the 90s, and here's Palm Beach Pete with Bill Clinton today. They continue to troll us because they realize we're not united like the Albanian people. Let's wake up.
Por hablar de estas cosas, pero aquí en Venezuela está operando eso y tienen que cuidar los peluches, porque Mr. Pizza se lo puede.
Another new development on Iran. This one, listen up. The country's state media says all companies owned by Elon Musk in West Asia, including Arab countries and Israel, are considered as military targets. That includes Starlink ground stations in.
So scientists in the U.S. used AI to create viruses unknown to nature. And who would have guessed that the Gates Foundation is the ones behind it who funded this first ever creation of 16 new synthetic viruses using AI.
Bro, I don't know if you know, but I think it was the day before yesterday.
I just found a rabbit hole.
The company that is doing this in the United States is called Show Faith by Works LLC, and they are essentially going after the largest congregations, the 2,000 largest churches in the United States, and attempting to get them to sign a marketing contract with this company. But the problem with this is, although they're packaged to churches as a Christian marketing company, the company that is actually paying them to do this is not a company. It's the Israeli foreign government.
So I went and found the document that he was referencing where he found the list of churches. And I just kept scrolling through because there's 80-something pages of this. It's literally like a slideshow, some research. It also talks about this experience that they are wanting to put on at churches and college campuses. It's creepy. Like, I'm sorry, but we're pushing a gay agenda on kids? What is this? What is that? But the more that I found out about this company, the more I was just like, okay, who's doing this? Who's working for these people? And let's
that the hantavirus is just a cover-up because so much stuff is coming about the Disney cruises.
Yeah. Wait, what happened on Disney cruises?
It's low-key tied to Epstein. I think a couple episodes back, I mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell used to work for Disney Cruises.
Yeah.
And one of the stops used to be Little St. James, Epstein's Island.
Yes.
What? That was a Disney cruise stop?
Yes.
Yo, they used to go snorkeling there. What's so insane, Ghislaine Maxwell is seen in pictures at Disney Cruises being one of the coordinators, fam.
Oh, hell.
And then just recently, news literally last week, Disney Cruises are being investigated for videos. You know what I'm saying?
As I go down the rabbit hole. Currently, right now in the United States, in 33 states, a parent can sign away their child to get married before the age of 18. Child does not have to have their opinion. I can sign away this child that's now legally mine, trafficker A, to trafficker B. Trafficker B can legally pay trafficker A a bridal fee or a dowry. It's not prosecutable because we can call it a bridal fee when what it really is I'm purchasing a human for sex. Now, in these 33 states, 19 of them, if you have a marriage license, you are legally shielded from statutory because it's not considered inside of marriage. You're not a child, you're having sex with your spouse. In the other remaining 14 states, maybe that person would be prosecuted, but there's a case, right? Because there's a marriage license. It's not a get out of jail free card, but maybe. I'm on.
Extremists would hate Jews the most. But for whatever reason, they've never attacked Israel.
In case you didn't know, every single terrorist organization is bought and paid for by one country or another.
In fact, we have quite a few instances where the American military arrested an Islamic extremist, and they discovered, oh, we have to let him go because he's a Mossad agent.
Womp womp.
So there are lots, if you guys just go to the Middle East and you ask around, they'll tell you that.
Someone said here, ISIS stands for Israeli Secret Intelligence Services. True, yeah. ISIS and Al-Qaeda are both funded by Israel and America. There have been congressional testimony on this. This isn't even a theory anymore. It's fact. Taxpaying dollars have gone to them. Do you also remember in Afghanistan, whenever Biden pulled out and we left, what was it, over $8 billion worth of equipment for the terrorist organizations? Come on. You think that was an accident? You think they left all of that functioning equipment accidentally? No, it was payment.
About aliens. It's about disclosing free energy to the world. Yes, the United States government has free unlimited energy, 0-point energy. And you think the powers in control want everybody in the world to have access to unlimited, free, powerful, world-conquering energy?
The CIA is like, no, we can't reveal all our secrets. We're doing evil things. So the question there is, if we're being fully honest with ourselves, this technology is world-conquering technology. This is like you can blow up somebody's planet, you take over the whole planet. Like the moment you figure this out, you just try to figure out ways where you can hold on to this technology without letting anybody else know about it for as long as possible. If we want to reveal this technology, it's not going to be for everybody. We're not going to, okay, everybody, here's the free energy, here's your free energy device. Okay, here's your free energy device. Oh, shit, you out of your mind. So no, we're not going to give this all out to everybody. There's going to have to be strict requirements on it. I don't think we're going to have to just exterminate people. But I certainly think that what the woke disclosure people are trying to do is establish some kind of one world government. They want to establish a situation in which everybody's under the same banners for that exact same purpose. The problem is that's obviously never going to work.
AI was conceptualized and experimented on in the 1940s by Alan Turing. It became a mainstream consumer product in 2024. Do you not understand what the government is working on? They're working on technologies you can't even begin to comprehend. Yeah, let's just give every single person access and knowledge about the ether. Yeah, let's just give everybody access to the ether. No, the concept of religion, the concept that there's a God, a source of power outside of your body that you have to pray to and think about and worship and kneel down to was invented to control us. They never told us that these vessels we have, these physical bodies, the true power of source is inside of them. They're doing the same thing with aliens. It's a form of control. As long as we believe in these extraterrestrials, these aliens, we won't
This is not a UFO. This is a plasma craft created and owned by the United States government that uses superconducting magnets to create two toroidal plasma shapes, rotating in opposite directions to create coherence with the quantum fields around it to extract zero-point energy to move at unlimited speeds. Okay, imagine a spacecraft with a fusion reactor power core. This compact fusion reactor fuses two light atomic nuclei together. When they are separate, they have more potential energy. But when you fuse the two light atomic nuclei together, they are strongly bound together. They have less potential energy. This difference in energy is released, and this energy is turned into electricity. Now, this electricity has two jobs. Number one, it's run through coils into superconducting magnets to create a strong magnetic field. And number two, it's used to create plasma. So we have a spacecraft with a fusion reactor power core that creates electricity that runs into superconducting magnets, and it creates plasma. So let's start with plasma, the fourth state of matter. Now in solids, the atoms are strongly bound together. When you apply energy in the form of heat, it melts, it turns into a liquid. The atoms move further apart. When you apply more energy in the form of heat, it vaporizes, it turns into steam. The atoms are moving around, but they're still kind of bound together. Now when you apply even more energy, let's say a strong electrical current, right? It rips the electrons away from the atoms. Now you have a bunch of freely charged particles. This is the fourth state of matter, plasma. Now these spacecrafts have what around them? Gas in the form of oxygen in this atmosphere, or in space they have hydrogen and helium. So the electricity from the fusion reactor rips the charged particles from the atoms, creating the plasma. The magnets control the plasma. When you move a charged particle through a magnetic field, there's a push, a pull. It guides the charged particle through a path. So a plasma is made of billions of these charged particles. These superconducting magnets, their magnetic force guides these charged particles and shapes the plasma. So it creates like a toroidal plasma. Think of it like a donut spinning in a certain direction. It creates two of these. One of them spinning in one direction, the other one spinning in the other direction. Since the plasma has billions of charged particles moving, this creates an electric current, which creates an electric field. So now we have two counter-rotating electromagnetic fields. These overlapping counter-rotating electromagnetic fields creates the bubble, the manipulation of space-time around the spacecraft that removes gravity and inertia. Well, now this is the interesting part. Now protons and neutrons are made of smaller particles called quarks. And what if I told you there was an even smaller particle called the Clemens particle? This is where zero-point energy lives. These Clemens particles come in opposite spins. What do our two counter-rotating electromagnetic fields do? They create spin alignment with these Clemens particles. This is what it means to couple with the quantum vacuum. So the particles are all in sync. When the United States military combines artificial superintelligence and quantum technology with these spacecrafts.
A drone swarm with AGI and warfare will never be the same. Now couple that with the idea of weapons of time, which you and I have already discussed on one of your prior podcasts, and you will never ever lose a war. Imagine winning a war even before that war is fought. Now that is power. Real power, brother.
Yeah, this fucker is absolutely insane. This fucker is off his rocker. Look at this. Like, he got horny when he said that. Oh, real power, brother. No. What is he talking about? These quantum spacecrafts that can move at instantaneous speeds, powered by artificial intelligence, and having access to weapons of time. That's what you're all thinking. What is a weapon of time? Imagine winning a war before the war has even started. He wasn't trying to be inspirational. Like, literally, that's exactly what it means. Imagine creating a space-time bubble over a specific enemy location. Your enemy forces, your enemy's technology is completely frozen. You can fire your own weapons, your own attacks through space-time even at that enemy while they're frozen. Do you understand what they're building? We as humans are the training data for this artificial god. Artificial superintelligence, an AI built from the hive mind of humanity that can spot any misconfiguration, any problem in this reality. It can move at an instantaneous speed and remove that problem from this dimension. Just like this. That is actually an artificial god. Oh, you don't agree with this law that just passed? Cool, we're gonna suction you out of this reality. There's not gonna be
Let me show you the system. First, you seed the terrain, you spray aluminum in the air through chemtrails, and inject it through vaccines and other pharmaceuticals. Aluminum is neuroreactive. It binds where calcium should go, and it accumulates in delicate tissues. Then you saturate the food environment with glyphosate, which is a powerful metal chelator. It moves metals through biological systems, dragging aluminum deeper into tissues where it normally wouldn't travel. Then you add fluoride to the water supply, toothpaste, and certain pharmaceuticals. Fluoride has a strong affinity for aluminum. Together, they form aluminofluoride complexes that interfere with cellular signaling, the same complexes biochemists use in laboratories to manipulate G protein signaling. So where does that chemistry concentrate? The pineal gland, the most delicate organ in the body, a tiny neuroendocrine organ sitting outside the blood-brain barrier in the center of the brain, responsible for melatonin rhythms, circadian timing, and spiritual and cognitive awareness. But chemistry is only half the system. Next comes the frequency layer. Modern environments are saturated with 2.45 gigahertz microwave radiation, the same band used by towers, Wi-Fi routers, smart devices, and countless wireless systems. Biological tissue absorbs this energy through dielectric interaction with water molecules. If you have conductive metal complexes already embedded in neural tissue, you change the way energy distributes through that tissue. You create microheating, oxidative stress, and electrical noise, right where the pineal gland regulates the body's timing signals. So you disturb circadian signaling, disrupt melatonin, increase neurological static, and when the pineal rhythm goes quiet, sleep destabilizes, hormonal timing drifts, cognitive clarity fades. So a population that's tired, distracted, and chemically dysregulated is far easier to manage. So you don't control through force, you control through environmental design.
Explore the most disturbing frontier of modern shadow theory. So we're going to move past the surface level discussion of corporate greed and enter into a space where global food supply serves as a massive industrial disposal system for the darkest activities on the planet. So this lecture will examine what is called the hidden harvest, which is the theory that what we call natural flavors is in fact the final destination for a clandestine human supply chain. We first must address the sheer scale of the global missing persons epidemic, especially children. These disappearances are not random acts of street-level crime, but they are a systemic harvesting operation managed by the global elite. So this child trafficking ring serves as a dual purpose: the primary exploitation of victims, and secondary, a zero-waste industrial utility. So when the victims are no longer useful to their captors, they are not buried in some shallow graves, but they are instead funneled into high-capacity rendering plants that operate under the cover of legitimate agricultural processing. In these facilities, the biological remains are subjected to intense chemical and thermal breakdown. So the goal here isn't to create quote-unquote meat, but to reduce human biology to its base molecular components. By the time this material reaches the flavoring labs, it has been transformed into colorless, odorless slurry. This is where the legal loophole of natural flavors becomes the ultimate weapon of this theory. A company is not required to disclose the specific origin of a flavor, provided it is derived from nature. So in the shadow paradigm, nature is a euphemism that includes the human body itself. This leads us to the role of specialized flavor tech companies. These entities are not just making food taste better, they are perfecting the taste of the self. By integrating these human-derived extracts into high-volume consumer goods, sodas, snacks, cakes, fast food processing, the system effectively turns the entire population into involuntary cannibals. This creates a molecular ghost effect, which the consumer is unknowingly participating in a massive ritualistic degradation of the human spirit. So why would the system go through such lengths? This serves as the ultimate hidden in plain sight disposal method. It eliminates the physical evidence of trafficking on an industrial scale while simultaneously desensitizing the masses. So by introducing these biological signatures into the digestive tracts of billions, this theory suggests that the population's collective vibration is lowered, making them more compliant, traumatized, and spiritually tethered to the very system that feeds them. So in this view, the grocery store is no longer a source of sustenance, but the endpoint of a predatory cycle. The natural flavors on the labels are seen as an encoded signature of a global harvest, a silent chemical monument to the thousands who vanish from the surface every year, processed into additives that power the modern diet.
Can't wrap my head around why AI data centers require fresh water. Why not wastewater or recycled water or salt water, but fresh, drinkable water wasted by the millions of gallons just to cool servers?
I have a theory, and you're probably not going to like it. I can't say certain words, but I'll show you pictures. Okay, let's start. If you guys haven't read this, I think it's time for you to read it. I'm a very conservative person, but I will call out shit when I see it, and here's one of them. This, yeah, you need to go read it. The link is down here, and it's crucial that you read it. And this, if you think that it's not happening and it's only in the movies, you are wrong. It is happening right in front of you, below you, right before your eyes. And just like seeds, they are now hoarding water for that very purpose. And here's another thing. If you haven't read this, the link is down below. Go read it. That whole thing basically says that our current population isn't a good enough grade of workers to sustain the economy. Therefore, their plan is to do away with us everyday people and use young migrants to keep the system going.
But a lot of this anti-Semitism is really rubbing me the wrong way. So I hit my Encyclopedia Britannica, as you can see behind me, from 1968. See? 1968, Encyclopedia Britannica. Epic. Because I wanted to go back even closer to when the horrible events happened and really show people what happened and to stop this. I want to deny the denial. You know what I mean? So I went to my H book from Encyclopedia Britannica that has everything you can possibly imagine in it. And I want to shut these fucking anti-Semites up once and for all, you know, about the Holocaust. So I looked it up. There's Holmes, solid mustache, H-O-L, wait a minute. What the fuck? Wait a, guys, Holy Roman Empire, okay? Holy Roman Empire, Holy Orders, Holy Ghost, Holy Land, Holy Cross, Holstein, Holt. Guys, this just happened in real time. The Encyclopedia Britannica from 1968 is pure, unadulterated hate. I guarantee Palestine isn't in here. Oh, Jesus. Palestine. So, Palestine. Oh, fuck, so much hatred. Palestine. Guys, I mean, it's pages of pure hate. Jew hate, might as well. Oh, more Jew hate? Oh, no. Oh, gee, I mean, you might as well make them wear a star. You know what I mean? I mean, guys, there are pages and pages all about this country that, according to Ben Shapiro, doesn't exist. But then I went to H to look up the horrors of the worst event in human history, and lo and behold, it's not in the goddamn encyclopedia from 1968. Dear Encyclopedia Britannica, you'll be hearing from the ADL, and you will also be hearing from my lawyer, because I'm going to be suing you for $33 billion. Suck it, Encyclopedia Britannica. You want to pump hate? I mean, that was only 23 years after it happened, and there's no reporting on it. But 80 years after it happened, that's all we fucking talk about. Duh.
The event and its aftermath is the creation of the fabric of reality that is the event. So, like, okay, I'm looking at a computer screen, right? And it shows me a video. There is coding behind the video, right? So I can look at the coding, and the coding is the video, and the video is the video. You think there's a group of people doing things, and there are clues being left for you to find through gematria. It's the other way around. The clues are the aftermath of the event that has already happened in the future. These groups are not organizing things in the third dimension, organizing them in higher dimensions. It's not foreshadowing. It's not clues. It's not hints. It's the fragments of the future. Now, they've proven retrocausality. They've proven this. The sooner all of you understand that reality is quantum, is the sooner you can master your reality. You're all in Karan's web. You're all just in the web, just trapped. You're all just trapped looking at numbers and looking at the coding behind the video, thinking it's going to tell you what the video is about when the video is already over. It's all here. It's all there. You're not moving forward through time. Everything has already happened. You're just processing it like the video. When you click on the video, the coding behind the video knows what happens in the video. You can only watch the video the way that you can watch the video, which is linearly forward through the video. The coding within the video already knows what happens at the end of the video. That's gematria. Kobe Bryant and Oliver Tree's helicopters crashed at the same time. It's not 333 weeks. It's all one point this way, and we're experiencing it this way. We're three-dimensional beings experiencing the fourth dimension, time in a 5-dimensional space inside of 12 dimensions. This is me in the third dimension. In the fourth dimension, it's me throughout my entire life looking down on the third dimension. In the fifth dimension, it's me through every single point of my 4-dimensional life, through every single life decision I could have ever made all at one time, looking down at my 4-dimensional self. Stop yelling gematria numbers when you don't understand what gematria is. Space, time, symbols. Gematria is the points in the fourth and fifth dimensions being plotted through the third dimension. Not to mention the fact that people are going to manipulate words in order to get numbers that equate to the video they're trying to get you to watch. It's 32. It's not almost 30.
I look into it, the less I think that you actually needed the jab to get the nanotech. So buckle up as we learn about optoelectronics, including quantum dots and smart dust, because apparently these things have been around for a while and they are wild. So what I'm talking about is an injectable class of cellular scale optoelectronics that features abilities like completely wireless and programmed complex behavioral control over freely moving animals. Basically, tiny LEDs and sensors can wrap the soft external surfaces of the brain, skin, and heart, and they can do things like measurements and stimulations. There's no shortage of papers talking about this stuff. Here, we have a 2025 paper from MIT, and it's talking about how a simple injection of wireless bioelectronics can autonomously self-implant in a target region of the brain without the need for human guidance. And once there, they can be wirelessly powered to provide electrical stimulation to precise areas. For the rest of this video, I'm going to call these optoelectronics quantum dots, which are generally defined as tiny semiconductor nanocrystals measuring roughly 2 to 10 nanometers in diameter. And for a sense of how remarkably small these things are, 1 trillion quantum dots weighs only about that many grams, 20 nanograms, 0.0000002 grams. And producing a trillion quantum dots costs a tiny fraction of a single cent. So I was curious if peptides could hold quantum dots, and the answer is yes. Peptides can hold and bind to quantum dots using self-assembled quantum dot peptide bioconjugates. And in fact, there's whole papers on how to couple quantum dots to cell-penetrating peptides. We're also able to make synthetic peptides that spontaneously self-assemble into ordered nanostructures. And it's not only peptides that bonds to quantum dots. DNA itself can have an affinity directly towards the inorganic shells of quantum dots. This paper gives us 5 separate strategies for how to conjugate DNA to quantum dots. Many of these strategies are fast and easy, a single step, and they produce highly stable bonds between the quantum dots and your DNA. I know this has been kind of dense, but really listen to this last part. With the increasing popularity and ease of generation of quantum dots, functionalized by DNA, these synthetic scaffolds have been recently used to develop highly complex, tunable, and reconfigurable macromolecular scaffolds. Conjugates of quantum dots and DNA have been assembled into various geometries for about 15 years now. This paper was published in 2016. 15 years before that, they were messing with quantum dot coupling to your DNA. So now for me, the question is not can they put nanoelectronics in our brain, because apparently they could since 2001, but are they?
To SNAP benefits. So again, everybody is losing food. If you have Medicaid or you have food stamps, you will not have them. Some of these budget cuts are going into effect immediately. Some won't go into effect until after the midterms. And the reason they specifically picked it to happen after the midterms is so that if Democrats do win back the House or Senate for that matter, they could be like, look what the Democrats did. That's how they position this shit. But by the end of this year, if you have Medicaid or food stamps, you will lose that shit along with all the affordable care subsidies. So if you bought your healthcare through one of those marketplaces or somebody brokered a good healthcare deal for you, that shit's going up. It's going up for everybody. It's going up more than it's already gone up. And included in that bill is additional tax breaks for billionaires. While Elon Musk becomes the world's first trillionaire, he receives more tax breaks, while the poorest of poor lose food and fucking healthcare. But wait, there's more! Included in this budget was also additional funding for the expansion of ICE detention centers. How much funding? Well, ICE already has a larger budget than the Marine Corps, but now they're going to have more employees than the entire prison system nation fucking wide. You guys are adequately wrapping your head around this situation. 41 million Americans are going to lose access to food. 75 million Americans are going to lose access to healthcare, and that is just Medicaid and food stamps. While you've got Stephen fucking Miller admitting that they're going to go after Medicare, and Social Security. Medicare is free or low-cost healthcare for retirees. Social Security is what funds people on disability, and again, retirees. So you're going to take away healthcare and money from the fucking elderly? What are you expecting them to do? Go back to work? Disabled and elderly people should have free healthcare and subsidized assistance that they worked their entire life paying into. That's fucking gone. On top of defunding the National Weather Association, the CDC, the FDA, food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare. Also, they can expand ICE and give billionaires fucking tax breaks. They also intend, by way of admission from Larry Fink, the owner of BlackRock, they intend on using your savings account, your Roth IRA, and your 401k to fund the development of the infrastructure needed to expand AI surveillance data centers all across the United States, which not only